Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 67 of 71 here in this 2017 USPBL season. Welcome along for the rest of the ride here. My name is Rich Borland. I will be on call here tonight in this ball game. Westside Woolly Mammoths and Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers will be going toe-to-toe in this one here tonight. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers coming into this one sitting in first place at 27-23. While the Westside Woolly Mammoths come into play today at 21-27, sitting 5 games back behind these Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers with an opportunity here tonight. If they end up with a victory, they move to 28-23. Now, meanwhile, in the Eastern Division of this USPBL, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers sit at 25-23, just a game back of these Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. And the rest of the way, like I mentioned, Beavers have 2 games left in this regular season, while the Diamond Hoppers, meanwhile, have 3. So pending what happens here tonight, the Beavers could possibly secure a first-place finish in the USPBL in this season. Obviously, still a lot left to go, things having to be decided pending how the Eastside Diamond Hoppers do the rest of the way, but the Beavers in a really nice position to control their own destiny. And what better way to attack the Westside Woolly Mammoths here tonight than have Randy Wynn on the mound for this team. Randy Wynn on the season versus the Westside Woolly Mammoths, making his 8th start and 9th appearance on the mound. He's got 47 innings pitched. He has given up 17 earned runs, 41 hits, just 8 walks, and 42 strikeouts on the year for the right-hander out of Missouri Baptist. And let's quickly tell you about the lineup that he will face off tonight here, starting with the Westside Woolly Mammoths. They'll be getting the first opportunity with the bats here this evening. Leading off, playing second base for the Mammoths, number 11, that's Jalen Lawson. Batting second, playing right field, that's number 9. Playing third base, number 9, that is Kent Blackstone out of George Mason. Batting third, the man who was normally a leadoff hitter for the Westside Woolly Mammoths all season long, the 23-year-old as of today, Thomas Fiesel, plays in center for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Batting in the cleanup spot as the designated hitter this afternoon out of Tifton, Georgia, that's Alex Abbott. He's rocking number 21. Batting fifth, playing left field, a normal first baseman for the Mammoths, number 22, Ethan Whisker. He's been playing outfield for quite some time now, ever since Riley Palmer has entered this team. Batting sixth, playing right field, number 25, that's Sean Wood. Keep an eye out for his glove out there roaming the outfield grass as he robbed a home run last weekend against this same Beaver team. Batting seventh, playing shortstop out of Missouri Baptist. That is number 2, Jeff Smith, former teammate of Randy Wynn. And then batting eighth, playing catcher behind the dish for the Mammoths, that's number 4, Nick Kraus. He's out of Hillsborough Community College. And then rounding out this Westside Woolly Mammoth lineup, playing first base today, like I mentioned, number 3, out of Southern New Hampshire University, Riley Palmer. And on the mound for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, that is Travis McQueen. Travis McQueen on the season, making his overall 7th start, 18th appearance. And against this Birmingham squad, he has a 1-2 record and making his 5th overall start on the season, 9th overall appearance for the Westside Woolly Mammoths against this Beaver team. Against the Beavers, he's got 25.1 innings pitched. He's given up 17 earned runs, 36 hits, 7 walks to 17 strikeouts. And let's tell you about the lineup that he'll be facing off against the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Leading off, playing right field today from St. Mary's College of California, number 26, Don Andre Clark. Batting second from Morehead State, playing center field, number 20, Brandon Raw, the former Unicorn. Batting third, playing second base today, number 8, out of Columbia, Rob Pollard. Batting cleanup for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Playing first base today, out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, that is Christian Helsel. Batting fifth, playing third base, number 10, out of New Mexico State University, that's Dan Kennan. Batting sixth, as the DH today, number 3, Nick Buckner. Batting seventh, behind the dish for the Westside Woolly Mammoths from Western Kentucky University, that is number 23, Hunter Wood. Batting eighth, playing left field, number 5, out of Miami, Florida, that's Daniel Oliveri. And rounding out this Birmingham lineup playing shortstop today, wearing number 13, out of Dartmouth, Thomas Rulis. So we're starting to get the starting lineups going here. I gave you the numbers that each of these starters had against their respective teams that they're playing against tonight. But overall, on the season, as the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers start to line up here in the outfield and infield, getting ready for the national anthem. On the season overall for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, Randy Wynn in his second stint with this team. He's got a 6-4 record, a 3.84 ERA, making his 14th overall start and 15th overall appearance here tonight. He's got one shutout. He has had 77.1 innings pitched, 65 strikeouts to just 9 walks, and he has given up 80 hits on the season. As for Travis McQueen on the other side for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, a 2-2 record, making his 18th overall appearance and 7th overall start. He has a 4.25 ERA so far this season. He has one save to his credit, and in the 48.2 innings pitched, he has retired 39 via the swing and miss or the look. He's given up 16 walks and 54 hits on the season. And it looks like we are just about finishing up here with the starting lineup intros, and that means the national anthem is just around the corner. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Rich Borland here with you. We are just about ready for some baseball, but before that, we will get some singing here in to get things underway, and I'll keep us live here as we are just about ready to get things going. But as soon as everyone's done singing, we'll be back and ready for first pitch here on the USPBL YouTube channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats. Veterans and active military may keep your caps on while rendering the hand salute as we honor America and our military with the singing of our national anthem, performed this evening by Kayla Ochan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Great job.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The national anthem all set and underway here. Just about ready for first pitch. Randy Wynn getting loose out there on the mound, about to grab a baseball. But overall, we turn over to this month of September, and it is just 62 degrees out here in this great city of Utica. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers and Westside Woolly Mammoths about to get underway here as Randy Wynn is getting loose out there on the mound. Randy Wynn on the season. Let's tell you his numbers for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers in case you're just joining us. On the season, Randy Wynn, a 6-4 win-loss record with a 3.84 ERA, making his 14th overall start in a Birmingham-Bloomfield uniform. He's got one shutout to his credit on the season. That was back just on August the 19th against this same Westside team where he had thrown a complete game 3-hit shutout alongside 12 strikeouts and no walks. Coming into play tonight, Randy Wynn was 77.1 innings pitched. He's given up 9 walks and 80 hits during that time here in this season and 65 strikeouts to his credit. The first 3 hitters he will face off against this Westside team to start off this first inning: Jalen Lawson, Kent Blackstone, and the birthday boy, Thomas Fiesel. As Jalen Lawson stands in, supporting his 194 batting average through 10 games played with this Westside Woolly Mammoth team. He's got 7 hits and 36 at-bats. He's came in to score 4 times the year. He's got just 1 home run, which he had in last weekend's games. First pitch he sees, he's swinging on it. A line drive out to dead center field. Sort of one of the toughest plays for an outfielder, the one right to him. But Brandon Raw showing his reaction skills right there. 1 pitch, 1 up, 1 down as Lawson lines out to Raw out there in center field. The Moorhead State product making the catch on that one. From left to right in the outfield, we got we got Daniel Oliveri in left. Raw out there in center. Don Andre Clark out there in right as Kent Blackstone, the new batter for this Westside team, looks at a called strike 1 on the inner half. From left to right in the infield, Dan Kennan, Thomas Rulis, Robert Pauler, and Christian Helsel, as Randy Wynn just missing on the outside corner against Blackstone here. Evens the count up at 1-1. Randy Wynn's battery mate, Hunter Wood, out of Western Kentucky University. A screaming grounder to the right side, only good enough for strike number 2 here in this at-bat. The first baseman, Christian Helsel, out of Altoona, Pennsylvania, not being able to stop that baseball as it rolls out into the corner out there in right field. The count 1-2 on the batter, Kent Blackstone. Blackstone on the season batting .235 coming into play today. Looks at a changeup outside that he does not chase after. Count has evened up at 2-2. 3 home runs on the season for Kent Blackstone, the man out of Vienna, Virginia. A curveball thrown right here, just missing inside. Brings the count full, and now the payoff pitch will ensue here against Mr. Blackstone. Payoff pitch, 3-2, swung on and missed. Kent Blackstone chases after one right there, and that is strikeout number 40 on the year for Mr. Blackstone. Good enough for 4th on the team. Not one of the categories you want to be leading, but quickly 2 up, 2 down here for Mr. Randy Wynn, who has played tremendous about in every start he has made this year. He went 7 innings strong against his same Westside Woolly Mammoth team as Thomas Fiesel looks at a ball inside. But in those 7 strong innings, he had given up 4 earned runs, 5 total, and the Woolly Mammoths had shut out this Birmingham-Bloomfield squad. Randy Wynn out of Missouri Baptist throwing a pitch right there, and quickly Thomas Fiesel, like I mentioned, the birthday boy here today on this 1st of September, has looked at 3 straight balls in this count, and he is way ahead. He looks at another pitch, that one not hitting the zone either. Quickly 2 up, 2 down for Randy Wynn, but on 4 straight pitches, Thomas Fiesel reaches base safely to be the first base runner of this ball game here tonight, and that will bring up Alex Abbott, the designated hitter out of Tifton, Georgia. Abbott on the season, the 3rd best batting average on this team behind Thomas Fiesel and Ian Yetzko. Alex Abbott threw 44 starts with this team. He's got 42 hits and 154 at-bats. He's came in to score 21 times. As I say that, Abbott, on the first pitch he sees, he chases after the strike. The ball getting away from the catcher, Hunter Wood, for just a second, but not long enough to let Thomas Fiesel reach second base. Fiesel on the season, 3 of 3 on the base pass, so keep in mind for that over there. He's not going anywhere on this 0-1 pitch, but the curveball missing just low and inside. Abbott keeping an eye on it just a pinch longer than normal, wanting to make sure that it had missed the zone, in fact, and it did. Count even at 1-1. Keeping an eye on Fiesel over there is Wynn. So important. Once you let base runners on, you have to sort of not forget about them. All about attacking the running game from a pitcher's perspective. You still have a responsibility to withhold after you let men on base. The 1-1 pitch getting called a strike on the outer half. Alex Abbott quickly down in the count, 1-2 here. We'll see if in a possible off-speed count for Randy Wynn, if Thomas Fiesel will go anywhere. Abbott standing in from the left-handed batter's box. Randy Wynn thinking about the pickoff over there at first. And quickly getting back there was Fiesel, just in the nick of time. He stays alive over there. Still 2 outs here in this top of the first inning on this 1st of September. Just in our final weekend here before playoffs begin next weekend. Playoffs from September 7th to the 10th here at Jimmy John's Field. Coming into play today, the Westside Woolly Mammoths sitting in 4th place, while the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, in 1st. Both the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Utica Unicorns in between these two teams. Both of those teams, both Team Eastside and the Utica Unicorns, with 25 wins on the year. This 2-2 pitch taken the opposite way into left field, but underneath it to make the catch is Daniel Oliveri for the 3rd and final out. 4 up and 3 down. Just a base runner via the walk. No runs on no hits for the Mammoths in the top of the 1st. We head to the home half. We're scoreless here from Jimmy John's Field. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We head to this home half of the 1st inning. Westside Woolly Mammoths get a base runner on a 4-pitch walk from Thomas Fiesel, the birthday boy, but nothing else after that. Travis McQueen now about to start his night for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. He's going to have to deal with Don Andre Clark, the right fielder out of St. Mary's College of California. The first pitch, not even reaching home plate, a bouncer in the dirt, starts this night off for Travis McQueen. Travis McQueen on this season, as this ball hit to the left side of the infield. The shortstop, Jess Smith, picking it up on the hop and quickly rifling that ball over to first base. Coming into the at-bat, infielders knowing the speed of Don Andre Clark, and quickly that release right there, enough to retire the right fielder for out number 1 here in this home half of the first inning. On the season, Travis McQueen versus this Birmingham-Bloomfield Beaver team, a 1-2 record, but 4 out of his 6 starts have been against this Birmingham-Bloomfield team. On the season, making his 5th overall start and 9th overall appearance is McQueen. This next pitch, not enough for Jeff Smith to be able to come up with. A hard liner that falls into center field. Brandon Raw gets the infield single right there as he reaches base, and that, in fact, the first hit of the night for either team. But getting back to Mr. McQueen, in his 8 games and 4 starts on the season versus this team, he's got 25.1 innings pitched, 17 earned runs given up, 36 hits, 7 walks to 17 strikeouts. And he's going to have to deal with Rob Pauler now. Pauler having an incredible season, but possibly he's going to turn into 2 here. But the play at shortstop, not close enough. That was Jeff Smith picking up a ball as he was diving to his left. Did enough to stop that baseball, but quickly lost it after he initially had stopped it. Tried to get the out at first base as nothing was going to be able to be forced out at second in time. And unfortunately right there, the ball getting past the first baseman. That is Riley Palmer over there. The error going to go to the shortstop, Jeff Smith, right there. And in fact, they're going to give it a hit and an error. An understandable ruling right there. It was a tough play to start off for the shortstop out of Missouri Baptist. He's got an opportunity to turn to here once again with runners on the corners and just 1 out here. Christian Helsel, the now batter for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. He's ahead in the count 1-0 against McQueen. The runner from first to second going, and no throw right there from the catcher, Nick Kraus. Let's check these stats out real quick. Robert Pauler coming into play today. 2 stolen bases to his credit. A perfect 2 of 2, but with the runners on the corners right there, not sure he's going to get that stolen base effort as no throw was committed there from the catcher, Mr. Kraus. But either way, runners now standing on second and third here with just 1 out. Christian Helsel trying to drive in the first runs of the game for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. A high fly ball out into right field. Sean Wood coming underneath it. Let's see if his arm's good enough to make a play at the plate. In fact, not in time. A sacrifice fly out right there for Christian Helsel. Drives in Brandon Raw, and the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers are on the board. So 1-0 here in favor of the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. The runner on third is Pauler. Helsel with that sacrifice fly out to right field is good enough for out number 2. And back to work goes Mr. McQueen. He's dealing with Dan Kennan here now. Kennan on the season batting .272 through 45 games with the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. He's got 44 hits and 162 at-bats. After looking at a called strike 1, he looks at called strike 2 right there from the home plate umpire. And just like that, Dan Kennan quickly deep down in the count here against Travis McQueen. We'll see if Travis tries to attack him here or stay out of the strike zone. The 0-2 pitch, slider goes from the outside corner to out of the zone. Dan Kennan chasing after it, hitting a routine ground ball over there to the busy man this half inning, Jeff Smith, making the third and final out. But the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers get a run in this home half of the first. We head to the second. They lead it 1-0 over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. So you heard it here first from my good friend John Grabb, the PA announcer here at Jimmy John's Field. Ethan Whisker leading off for the Westside Woolly Mammoths to start off this top of the second inning. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers with an early 1-0 lead on that sacrifice RBI flyout off the bat of Christian Helsel. Drove in Brandon Raw, who singled in the home half of the first. Randy Wynn back out for inning number 2 of work. Through 1, he had 15 pitches, 7 of them for strikes. Starts off Ethan Whisker with a ball missing on the outside corner, and then a fastball getting enough of that outside corner, evens it up at 1-1. Whisker on the 1-1 pitch, chases after it right there. He's quickly down in the count 1-2. Ethan Whisker on the season coming into play tonight, a 194 batting average on the season. He hits a chopper over to the left side, and not easy play for Dan Kennan, but he certainly made it look fairly simple. A high roller over there to the left side retires Ethan Whisker for out number 1, and that'll bring up Sean Wood, the right fielder out of Old Dominion. Last weekend against this Birmingham-Bloomfield team, Sean Wood actually robbing Robert Pauler of a home run. Birmingham-Bloomfield team would end up becoming victorious. A hard ground ball hit over to the right field side of play. The first baseman, Christian Helsel, doing a good job making the diving stop down the line, but Sean Wood using his speed, busting his tail down that first base line. He gets the infield single, but a nice job there from Christian Helsel, forcing Sean Wood to only get one bag right there. A one-out single has the Mammoths in motion here in this top of the second inning. And now Jeff Smith, the shortstop, will come up to the plate. So 1 out, 1 on here for the Westside Woolly Mammoths, as Smith looks at ball 1 that misses high. Curveball that didn't fall into the zone out of the hand of Randy Wynn. Smith on the season batting .219 coming into play today. Looking at ball 2 that just missed the zone on the outside corner. Catcher Hunter Wood held it an extra half a second there for the home plate umpire, but ball 2 called right there. Jeff Smith making his 46th appearance here for this Westside team in this season. Hits a high pop-up in foul territory. Underneath it to make the catch is number 10, Dan Kennan, for out number 2. Quickly, 2 down here as Nick Kraus makes his way to the batter's box. Kraus, a champion last year with the Utica Unicorns. Not the greatest of offensive numbers, but a guy that you'd love having behind the dish. Not only does he work well with pitchers, calling counts, and he can also play with the best of them, trying to keep the baseballs in front of him. But right here, he gets good contact, but an even better job right there. Randy Wynn making the play, stopping the baseball with his glove, and retiring him via the 1-3 putout. We head to the home half of the second. Beavers lead it 1-0. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel here with Rich Borland. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. Home half of the second inning. Rich Borland here with you. Nick Buckner, the left-handed hitter for this Birmingham-Bloomfield team, takes ball one to start off his at-bat, but it's a hard line drive / ground ball, short hopper towards the direction of Jeff Smith, who's been ever so busy here this evening. And let's make sure we get this ruling marked correctly. See what they put it down as on the board. Technically haven't put something up just yet. And in fact, right there, the ruling, a base knock there for Mr. Buckner, which means that's going to go down in the books as a leadoff double. And he puts the Beavers in business here in this home half of the second. Perfect opportunity for Hunter Wood, the catcher, to move a man over. And in fact, he'll do just that, sacrificing himself right there for the 3-1 putout. Or excuse me, the 5-3 putout. Let's try that again for out number one here. Buckner moving from second to third on that first out here in this bottom of the second inning. Daniel Oliveri now standing in for the Beavers. Oliveri on the season, batting .357 through just 12 games with this Birmingham team. Looks at called strike one on the outer half to start off his at-bat right here. Oliveri in 42 at-bats, he's got 15 hits. He's came in to score 4 times while driving in 10. Looks at a curveball that doesn't fall in the zone, evens the count up at 1-1 on the right-hander. Oliveri out of Miami, Florida, trying to drive in a run here as Buckner's just 90 feet away from scoring. Looks like he might get in here. Sean Wood making the catch in the air. A throw, play at the plate possibility, but the throw just offline and to the right. A sacrifice fly out right there for Daniel Oliveri. Back-to-back sacrifices. Bring in Nick Buckner here, and the Beavers take the 2-0 lead. Get him on, get him over, and get him in just like that. Beavers have a 2-0 lead here as Thomas Rulis makes his way to the left-handed batter's box for the first time today. So a possibility of a play at the plate right there. Not enough accuracy on the throw from Sean Wood out there in right field. Enough on it to beat him at the plate as Nick Buckner didn't have tons of speed tagging up from third right there as Thomas Rulis looks at a called strike one to start this at-bat off. But tell you what, if that throw was a little bit more on line, we would have had a bang-bang play at the plate. It would have been pretty exciting. But either way, a 2-0 lead here now for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Rulis has looked at a couple of pitches, one for a strike, one for a ball. He lifts the third pitch of the at-bat to the opposite field, out there in left, and right before he makes it to the warning track, making the catch is Ethan Whisker. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, though, add on a run in this home half of the second. We head to the top of the third. They lead it 2-0 here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here on this game number 67 of 71 in this 2017 USPBL second season. Riley Palmer leading the way for the Westside Woolly Mammoths to begin this third inning. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers have put up a run in each inning. They have 2 runs on 3 hits through the first 2 innings of play. Randy Wynn, meanwhile, starts Riley Palmer off with a strike and then misses the zone with a ball. The count even at 1-1. Palmer on this season, he's got a .215 average as he chases a pitch right there. The count moving to 1-2 on the batter. Palmer making his 43rd appearance for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Looks like he might have went more around than he thought he had. He's in a little bit of disbelief, but Palmer definitely going around on that one. Home plate umpire able to make the call from behind the catcher, Hunter Wood. But now coming up to the plate for the second time here tonight, that is Jalen Lawson. Lawson, on the first pitch of the game, hit a line drive out there to center field where Brandon Raw made the catch. Lawson, to start off this second at-bat, shows bunt but pulls back on an absolutely nasty slide piece out of the right hand of Randy Wynn. That pitch looking like it was ready to hit Lawson and then slid right over the heart of the plate. He throws another one. This time Lawson sitting on it. Going back to the wall is Oliveri, and he will not be able to make the catch. Lawson with his second solo shot of the season. Good enough to cut the Beaver lead in half as it's now 2-1. Jalen Lawson, after not having quite the season at the plate, starting to turn things around. He was batting under 200 for the most part, and he is getting a little hot sort of at the right time. And that is what it is all about, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're in first or fourth going into the playoffs. Might be a tougher road being in that 4 spot, but in the end, you just show up every day. As a couple of guys in the pregame interviews that I got to have the pleasure of asking some questions before the game, you just got to take it a day at a time. Meanwhile, Kent Blackstone now, after looking at ball 1 to start off his at-bat, pops a ball out in there to left center field where Brandon Raw comes up with the catch. 2 down here in this top of the third inning. So now the birthday boy stands in here, Thomas Fiesel. Fiesel looks at a pitch right there, a curveball that almost got a piece of him. Fiesel on the night has not looked at a strike just yet. It took 4 pitches in the first inning in his first at-bat, which he saw 4 straight balls. The first strike he sees of the night, he takes the opposite way, but Don Andre Clark, running to his left and a little bit back, makes the catch for the third and final out. We head to the home half of the third inning. Westside Woolly Mammoths cut the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beaver lead in half on the solo shot from Jalen Lawson. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We proceed to the home half of the third inning. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers with a 2-1 lead over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. We head back to the top of this Beaver order. Don Andre Clark on the night, 0 for 1 with a ground out to the shortstop, Jeff Smith. Meanwhile, in this at-bat, Don Andre Clark looking at a couple of pitches. Both have missed the zone as he has worked a 2-0 count. 2-0 pitch from McQueen gets lifted into left center field. Both Thomas Fiesel and Ethan Whisker ranging towards it, but making the call and making the catch. Whisker out there in left retires Don Andre Clark for the first out here in this home half of the third inning. Brandon Raw now making his way towards the right side of the batter's box. Raw on the night came in to score on that sacrifice flyout from Christian Housel. And he had the first hit of the night for this Birmingham-Bloomfield team. Beavers sitting at 27-23 on this season. Won their last game. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Sean Wood, who's played well with the leather all season long. Brandon Raw lines one out there to him. He comes up with the baseball on the run for out number 2. Quickly, 4 pitches, 2 down here in this home half of the third inning. Sort of moving quickly, as I'm sure Travis McQueen likes what he's seeing thus far. A couple of big flies, but both of them getting caught here for the first and second out as Robert Poller now stands in for the Beavers. 7:34 on your clocks here, just about a half an hour into this one. Poller on the season coming into play tonight, batting .342 for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, making his 28th overall start. He's got 17 runs scored on the season. And he's got 27 hits in 79 at-bats. He's got 21 RBIs, 35 walks to 15 strikeouts. Poller, who had worked the count 2-0, chases after one a little high and inside. He might have gotten a little excited to swing the bat on that one. He misses it, and the count going to 2-1 on the left-hander out of Brooklyn, New York. The 2-1 pitch, a changeup low and outside, close to the zone, but Poller, a good eye at the plate, does not chase after that one. He's worked a good hitter's count here with nobody on and 2 outs in the bottom of the third inning. McQueen, the 3-1 offer. That ball is muscled down that right field line, but just foul. That brings the count full, and Travis McQueen with an opportunity to get his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. It took 5 hitters in the first inning for him to get out of it, and then he faced 4 hitters in the second. Both innings, the Beavers getting a run, but McQueen trying to retire the side in order in this one. A shallow fly ball into left field, good enough and deep enough for Ethan Whisker to come up with the third and final out. We head to the fourth. Beavers lead it by a score of 2-1 over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. to game number 67 of 71 of this 2017 USPBL season. Rich Borland here with you on the call as we head to this top of the fourth inning. Westside Woolly Mammoths got a run back in the top of the third on a solo shot off the bat of Jalen Lawson that cut the Birmingham-Bloomfield lead in half. Alex Abbott on the night, 0 for 1 as he flew out to left field where Daniel Oliveri stands. Abbott had worked to count 1-0 and then hit a foul ball towards that left field side, but it got out of play. Good enough for a foul ball. Evens the count up at 1-1. On the season, Alex Abbott coming into play today, batting .273 on the year. He's got 28 RBIs, 26 walks, 38 strikeouts, 42 hits, and 154 at-bats coming into play tonight. Looks at ball two that misses in the dirt out of the hand of Randy Wynn. Randy Wynn coming into this fourth inning with 34 pitches, 20 of them for strikes. An opportunity for a Web Gem nominee goes unscathed right there. Alex Abbott was possibly about to get robbed out there and left from Daniel Oliveri, but Oliveri instead letting it drop, making sure that ball doesn't get past him. So Abbott leads this one off with a single, and that brings up Ethan Whisker. Like I mentioned, Mammoth sitting in last place in this USPBL, sitting at 21-27. In their last 10, they're 2-8. Ethan Whisker, meanwhile, taking a half swing, sort of protecting his body as that pitch was towards the inside part of the plate. Instead of getting out of the way of that one, the bat seemed to have found the baseball, and it actually drops into shallow right field down that line. Don-Andre Clark with no possibility of a play. And back-to-back singles from Abbott and Whisker have the Mammoths in business here against Randy Wynn in the top of the fourth. Sean Wood now standing in for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Wood on the season batting just .122. A good opportunity for him to try and lay a bunt down, but instead, shockingly, Shane McCaddy, giving the green light here to Sean Wood. He chases after a strike to start this at-bat off, but it just seems like it would be a perfect opportunity to move runners from first and second to second and third. Wood on the 0-1, swinging and missing here once again. So the plan to try and get another base hit, which would be the third consecutive one, that plan starting to foil here a little bit as Wood is now down in the count 0-2. .0-2 pitch out of the hand of Randy Wynn. Swing and a miss. Sean Wood on 3 straight pitches. Swings his baseball bat and gets nothing out of it. Back-to-back-to-back swing and misses in that at-bat. Randy Wynn taking care of Sean Wood with ease on that one. Back-to-back singles and the strikeout here in this top of the fourth inning brings up Jeff Smith, the shortstop out of Missouri Baptist, the former teammate of Randy Wynn. Both of these men coming out of Missouri Baptist. Wynn a little older than Mr. Smith. And to start this at-bat off, Smith looks at a called strike to start this one. Not a big fan of that called strike, but either way, down in the count is Smith. Smith back in the second inning, popped out to the third baseman, Dan Kennan. 0-1 pitch, a curveball, missing just low and inside, evens the count up at 1-1. Smith, in the last time these two teams played, he was 1 for 3, had a single and a stolen base. Also reached on a hit by pitch, but nothing else doing. That was back in game 65. On the 1-1 pitch, Smith chasing after a slider that misses low and away. He's quickly down in the count 1-2, but an opportunity to possibly take the lead here. Smith on the season has left the yard once, but clearly would be the biggest hit of his entire season if he could leave the yard here against Randy Wynn. Instead, a hard line ball up the middle. The second baseman, Robert Pollard, taking the baseball himself to retire the man at second, Ethan Whisker, with ease on his own, and then rifles the ball over to first for the 4-3 double play putout. The Mammoths get 2 singles to start off this 4th inning, but end up getting out of the jam was the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. We head to the bottom half of the 4th. Beavers lead it by a score of 2-1. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here with you as we transcend onto this home half of the 4th inning. Beavers leading the Westside Woolly Mammoths 2-1. Couple of singles and a sac fly in the first, and a double and a couple of sacrifices in the second have put the Beavers on the board. And then a solo shot from Jalen Lawson back in the top of the 3rd put the Westside Woolly Mammoths in the conversation. Quickly, though, Christian Helsel, the leadoff man for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, has gone down in the count 0-2 in this one against Travis McQueen. And on the 0-2 pitch, a changeup, low and inside, misses. A 1-2 offer, slider that started on the outside frame and then missed outside. Helsel holding off on that one. He good enough to even the count up at 2-2. Helsel had that sacrifice RBI flyout back in the first that drove in Brandon Raw, the first run of the ball game for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. On the 2-2, McQueen misses the zone, and now the payoff pitch will ensue. 3-2, fastball outside corner at the last second, getting rung up is Helsel. He did not agree with that one too much, but definitely close enough to be called a strike. Home plate umpire thought it was, and in all honesty, that's the only opinion that mattered in that one. Helsel 0 for 1 on the night with that sacrifice flyout and an RBI and that strikeout right there to start off this home half of the 4th. Dan Kennan now stands in for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Quick little shout out to my boys from the High Toms. Worked with the High Point Thomasville High Toms back in the beginning of this summer and throughout most of the months of June, July, and August. Dan Kennan looking at ball 1 that evens the count up at 1-1. But what an incredible time I had in North Carolina all summer long working for that team. And I am fortunate enough to be able to come back here to the USPBL and call some games in my 3rd weekend stint here of this 2017 season. But missing the boys from down south. Thanks, guys, for tuning in and supporting your good friend here. Kennan on the 1-2 pitch, lifts a off-speed pitch to the right side where Jalen Lawson comes up with the catch for out number 2. Quickly 2 up and 2 down here for the Beavers in this home half of the 4th. So Helsel gets retired on the full count strikeout. Kennan on the 1-2 pop out to second base. Nick Buckner, though, 1 for 1 on the night with a leadoff double in the second inning. He came in to score on the sacrifice flyout from Daniel Oliveri back in that second inning. He looks at a called strike one out of the hand of Travis McQueen, who's coming into this fourth inning with 29 pitches, 19 of them 4 strikes, but a 1-2-3 inning in that third, keeping the pitch limit down there. Buckner, meanwhile, has looked at another one, and he's down in the count 0-2. McQueen, the 0-2 delivery, fastball high and inside, misses the zone, but close enough to be talked about behind home plate right there. 1-2 the count on Buckner. He is out of Pierfan, Texas. The 1-2 pitch, missing just outside, evens it all up at 2-2. Everybody on the defensive side sort of in the normal position outside of Lawson, who likes to creep from the outfield grass and into the infield dirt. But Buckner, a soft one, back up the middle, gets fielded by McQueen for the third and final out. Pitchers showing the athleticism as well. A 1-2-3 inning for McQueen in this fourth. We head to the fifth. Beavers lead it by a score of 2-1 over the Mammoths. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here with you as we proceed on to this fifth inning. Randy Wynn threw 4, 29 strikes on 46 total pitches, a pretty good ratio. Just 1 strikeout and 1 walk on the night for the right-hander. And as I say that, Nick Krause, who comes into play today with a 160 batting average, and also grounded out to the pitcher Randy Wynn back in the second, leads off this fifth inning with a base hit into left. Perfectly good swing right there. Lines one down that line, and Krause with not the greatest of speed. Wasn't sure if he was going to get a double out of that or not, but either way, cruises over there over to first to lead off this fifth inning with a base knock. Riley Palmer, the batter, now stands in from the left side. He's out of Goffstown, New Hampshire. Takes a big cut and fouls one off to start off this battle between him and Randy Wynn. Randy Wynn winning the first one. Struck out Mr. Palmer on a 1-2 pitch that led off the third inning. But Randy Wynn, as I look through his starts, is high on the year for strikeouts, 12 against this same Westside Woolly Mammoth team, and that complete game shutout effort he had back on August the 19th. But through the first 4 innings, he had just 1 strikeout. That was Sean Wood back in that fourth inning. Palmer quickly down in the count 0-2 here. 2 Ks on the night for Mr. Wynn. The 0-2 from Wynn gets fouled off and put out of play. A nice souvenir for a fan in the grandstands here. Beautiful night for baseball. Not as warm as some of you would like, as it's just in the low 60s here, but no precipitation and can't argue with fireworks after the ball game. Palmer fouls off another one to stay alive in this count. He has looked at one strike and fouled off 3 in this battle. But Randy Wynn has his number so far tonight. Just one ball thrown against the left-hander. And like I mentioned, started off that 3rd inning with a strikeout. The runner on first is Nick Krause. And a possible double play happening right here. Robert Pollard flips it over to the shortstop, Thomas Rulis, and Rulis completing the 4-6-3 double play. Palmer is retired, and 2 outs get put on the board just like that here for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. So the 4-6-3 double play retires both Krause and Palmer. And just like that, Randy Wynn gets out of this early jam, but even with nobody on here, still has a job to finish off in this 5th inning. Jalen Lawson in his last at-bat had that solo shot. He looked at a slider for a called strike and then sat on the next one for that home run. Then he drove over the left field wall for his 2nd home run of the season. He gets started off with a fastball in this count, the ball missing the strike zone just enough. Count 1-0 on the right-hander. And then on the 1-0, another fastball gets thrown in there, but not even able to stop that one was Hunter Wood. That one sails to the backstop. So Wynn losing control right there on that pitch brings the count to 2-0. Infield, outfield at normal depth. The only difference, Don Andre Clark out there in right field playing a little shallow than normal. Lawson looking at called strike 1, the count 2-1 here. Win the delivery. Lawson fouling one off into the top of the netting to my right, almost getting into those grandstands. Is every single time a ball hits that netting. Pretty good reaction from the fans in the seats here behind home plate. The count 2-2, and staying alive here once again. Jalen Lawson fouls one off into that netting. Back-to-back foul balls here, but Randy Wynn seems to be sharp. Like I mentioned, coming into this 5th inning, 46 pitches, 29 for strikes. That leadoff single from Nick Krause led to a double play created by Robert Pollard, the 2nd baseman for this Birmingham team. And then a swing and a miss on a nasty breaking ball. Jalen Lawson chases after one. He was trying to go over that wall for the 2nd time here tonight, but he goes down via the strike out here in this 5th. We're halfway through 5. The Beavers lead it by a score of 2-1 over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here with you. We're halfway through the 5th inning in game number 67 of 71 of this 2017 USPBL regular season. Hunter Wood, Daniel Oliveri, and Thomas Rulis, the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, due up here against Travis McQueen in this inning. McQueen coming into this half inning as Hunter Wood hits a line drive out into left field the other way. Ethan Whisker ready for that one, runs to his left, jumps in the air and makes the catch for the out number 1 in this 5th inning. But before I got into that, going into this 5th inning, Travis McQueen had 44 total pitches, 28 of them for strikes. No walks on the evening and just 1 strikeout. He is pitching to contact and he is getting outs. Being about as efficient as possible is the right-hander out of Radford University. Daniel Oliveri, meanwhile, looks at ball 1 inside to start off his at-bat. 1 out on the board. Nobody on the bases in this home half of the 5th. A called strike on the outside corner evens it up at 1-1. Oliveri with an RBI sacrifice flyout back in the 2nd inning drove in Nick Buckner. That gave the Beavers this 2-1 lead, and as of right now, that would be the game-winning RBI. The 2-1 pitch is lined out into right field. Sean Wood, indecisive from the get-go right there. Wasn't sure if he wanted to come in and try and dive, but instead holds off and lets the ball drop in as Oliveri gets his first hit of the night, 1 for 1. As I mentioned, he had that sacrifice flyout and RBI back in the 2nd. So he reaches first base. A good night thus far for Oliveri. 1 out, 1 on here in this home half of the 5th inning. And Thomas Rulis, who comes into this one with a .353 batting average, batting in the 9th spot as far as I've seen in my whole time here in this 2017 season. Sort of that double leadoff guy. See if he can start something here with the runner on first. Rulis, first pitch he sees, fouls one off out of play. Well, let's talk a little bit about Mr. McQueen here. He started off the season as a reliever on this Westside Woolly Mammoths squad. And then July 23rd, he made his first start against this Beaver team. Went 4 innings, gave up just 3 hits, had 2 strikeouts in 4 innings pitched. He didn't pitch long enough to get the victory. But the Westside Woolly Mammoths winning that one by a score of 7-1. And since then, he has made 5 starts overall, making start number 7 on this season. Keeping an eye on Oliveri over at first with back-to-back picks is McQueen, making sure he's not going anywhere. On the season, Oliveri, no stolen bases, 0 for 1 is the man out of Miami, Florida. 0-1 pitch, getting fouled off here as Rulis has dug himself into a hole here. Infield, outfield at regular depth. They're just waiting to see where Rulis will put this one. Rulis on the season, just 20 strikeouts in 48 games. He lifts a ball shallow and nearly just out of play, actually ricocheting with the bottom of the Beavers dugout down that third baseline. No arms getting loose for either team just yet, but you got to imagine things will start to ruckus in both bullpens as we get on to these next couple of innings. McQueen on the 0-2 offer. Rulis holds off on it. Stays alive in the count. Not going anywhere was Oliveri. He had a good secondary, but a better stop there from Nick Kraus keeps him on first base. Just past the 8 o'clock hour here. Not even an hour into this one, and we're already possibly through 5 innings played. McQueen on the 1-2, a backdoor slider, not getting called a strike, just falling out of the zone right there with that pitch. Evens the count up at 2-2. A good hitter's count here for Thomas Rulis, who has done well all season long at the plate. He is out of New Hyde Park, New York, right around the Long Island area. The 2-2 pitch is hit a mile high into shallow left center field. Looks like Thomas Fiesel, the birthday boy, was thinking about it, but Ethan Whisker, for the second time in this inning, gets an out. And he had to run a long way to retire Thomas Rulis right there, but 3 up and 2 down here as we head back to the top of this Birmingham-Bloomfield lineup. Don-Andre Clark on the night 0 for 2. Got retired on the ground as well as in the air once apiece. Grounded out to the shortstop. And that was Jeff Smith back in the first, and then flew out to the man of the inning, Ethan Whisker, back in the third. Oliveri still waiting over there on first base to get moved up as he's waiting on something out of the bat of Don-Andre Clark. Clark, first pitch he sees, a changeup on the outside corner that misses just enough. McQueen with the 1-0 delivery, a fastball high in the zone. The catcher, Nick Kraus, trying to get a little back pick right there. Kraus with the quick throw to first, not in time to get Oliveri though. Oliveri getting back to the bag in time, and Don-Andre Clark on that one as he bats from the left side, gets caught off guard as he had to duck at the last second. That would have been something scary to see if there was any contact made between the baseball and Mr. Clark. Meanwhile, he takes the ball the other way, a couple of short hops over to the third baseman, Kent Blackstone, coming up with the play. They get a base runner on that one-out hit from Daniel Oliveri, but nothing else doing for the Beavers in the home half of the fifth. We head to the sixth as they lead it by a score of 2-1. Randy Wynn coming back out to pitch for the Beavers. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel.
Leading off for the Westside, Mammoths, the third baseman, number 9, Kent Blackstone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here with you. We're through 5 innings of play. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers lead it by a score of 2-1 over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Randy Wynn back out for inning number 6 of work. Through the first 5, he's got 58 pitches, 39 of them, 4 strikes, 1 walk, 3 Ks to his effort. The only run given up back in that third inning to Jalen Lawson. But he'll deal with Kent Blackstone, Thomas Fiesel, the birthday boy, and Alex Abbott here in this top of the 6th inning. Kent Blackstone looks at a called strike to start this at-bat off and then hits a line drive that was too far foul down that right field line. He's quickly down in the count. 0-2 is the man out of Vienna, Virginia, the third baseman here today. He's protecting on the 0-2. All he could do was hit a soft ground ball over to the left side to the shortstop where Thomas Rulis, the man out of Dartmouth College, comes up with the play. 1 up, 1 down here to start off this 6th inning. Randy Wynn, like I mentioned, coming into this inning with 58 pitches through 5. And he's got 1 complete game effort to his credit this season. That was recent against this same Westside team back on August the 19th. And we'll see how far he can go here tonight. Through the first 5 innings, he had given up just 5 hits, but the 1 run on that solo shot, the hits that he's given up, soft ones that sort of aren't coming in bunches, and that's exactly what you need to keep your opponent off the scoreboard. Fiesel, the birthday boy, looks at a called strike 1 and then hits a line drive out to left field. A one-hopper to Daniel Oliveri out there. And Fiesel has reached base for the second time here today, but the first hit of the night for the birthday boy. I'm sure he's got to feel good after that one. One down, one on here in this top of the sixth inning. Alex Abbott, the designated hitter out of Tifton, Georgia, stands in from the left side. Abbott still waiting for the first pitch as Fiesel gets checked on over there at first base. Fiesel on the season, 3 stolen bases. He has not been caught stealing just yet. So perfect he is still. First pitch that Alex Abbott sees, a curveball, outer half, not getting called a strike. He's ahead in the count, 1-0. Abbott on the night, 1 for 2 with a single in the fourth and a fly out to left in the first. He reached second base back in that fourth inning, but could not come in to score. Randy Wynn trying to limit the damage here in this sixth inning. The 1-0 pitch, missing down and in. And quickly, Alex Abbott has worked himself into a really good hitter's count. It's 2-0. Wynn, seeing that Fiesel had a decent-sized lead over there on first with the quick pick over there. Before he even had come set, he stepped off with the back foot and tried to get Fiesel sleeping over there as he was making his way towards second with his leadoff. The count 2-0, Fiesel not going anywhere. This one looks like it's going to find a fan in the stands, and it will. And right on cue, a barehanded catch from a man in about the second or third row right behind home plate. Nice job right there. Fans having a good time at the ballpark, and one lucky guy right there getting a souvenir to take home with him. And all free of charge. Count 2-1 on the batter, Alex Abbott. Trying to put the Woolly Mammoths back on the board here. The only time they reached board was on that solo shot from Lawson back in that third inning. The 2-1 pitch, Abbott hits a line drive, but foul down that right field line. Just a little early on it was the left-hander. Abbott in the DH role here tonight, sort of a utility guy for this Westside team. Can really play just about anywhere outside of the battery. That is the pitcher and catcher. A close play over there at first as Fiesel had to skirmy his way back over there to first base. Not sliding, though, as he gets back just in the nick of time. Bang, bang play over there at first. A nice tag from Helsel, but just in the nick of time. Fiesel gets back. 2-2 pitch, missing low and just outside. Alex Abbott has worked himself a full count here. Randy Wynn gave up a leadoff single back in the fifth, but a 4-6-3 double play and a strikeout retired the Mammoths in order. If Wynn can get a double play here, it'll be a 1-2-3 inning, and a late call from the home plate umpire, Alex Abbott, as he was about ready to head down towards first base, has to stop his travel short and veer right over to that first base dugout as he gets retired for out number 2. 4th strikeout of the night for Randy Wynn. 2 outs here in this top of the 6th inning. Temperature really starting to drop here in Utica, Michigan, here at Jimmy John's Field. Sun is completely set. Lights completely turned on as of now. A really light sky blue sky here in Utica, Michigan. But like I mentioned, temperature dropping. We are now below the 60-degree mark as we are now in this month of September. It is clearly no longer August. Ethan Whisker stands in here now. 1 for 2 on the night coming into this at-bat. He looks at a curveball that misses outside. He singled back in the fourth, but was retired on a 4-3 double play induced by Robert Pauler over there at second. A 1-0 pitch. Whisker reaches out and hits high and shallow in the field, but just not making that catch on a dive in foul territory was Christian Helsel. About as far as he could have went, as he had busted his tail to the spot where the ball was landing, but not enough wheels there for the first baseman. It was a close play, but just not in the reach of Helsel right there. A long strike right there evens the count up at 1-1 on Whisker. Whisker out of Hillsdale College, as well as Clio, Michigan, one of the hometown kids. 1-1 pitch, a curveball that just looked like it missed inside in the at-bat here against Whisker. The 2-1 pitch, low and in the dirt. No strike call just yet. The runner getting froze in between first and second was Fiesel, and he had to make a split-second decision. He was about halfway there. Realized the catcher, Hunter Wood, had a beat on the baseball, but he kind of just had to go through with it. And because of it, Fiesel reaches second base with that stolen base to his credit. The count 3-1 now on Whisker as he looks at that ball right there. .73 pitches on the night here for Randy Wynn, and with that runner on second, Fiesel. A little cross-up between Wynn and Hunter Wood. They want to make sure they're on the same page, obviously on this 3-1 count. Possibly could be talking about a strategy as well. Whisker, the batter, like I mentioned, 1 for 2 on the night. Sean Wood, the next guy in line for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Not as good of a hitter as Whisker. We'll see if on the 3-1 they just allow Whisker to reach on the walk, or if they'll try and attack him here with the runner on second, Fiesel. The 3-1 offer, a curveball missing high and inside. Whisker reaches for the second time here tonight, 2 in the last 2 at-bats, and runners now on first and second. And Sean Wood will be standing in, 1 for 2 on the night. He had an infield single that he hit down that right field line that was stopped by Christian Helsel, but not enough for him to get all the way to second, and then he had struck out for the first out in the 4th inning. Meanwhile, head coach of this Birmingham-Bloomfield team, that is Chris Newell, the manager, going out to talk with Randy Wynn. Nobody warming up just yet in that Birmingham bullpen, so more of just a strategy meeting on the mound between the 3 gentlemen, both Wood, Wynn, and Newell. If you're just joining us, Beavers leading this one by a score of 2-1 over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. The Beavers had put up a run in both of the first 2 frames. A couple of singles leading to a sacrifice fly out off the bat of Christian Helsel, and then a double off the bat of Nick Buckner led to a sacrifice fly out off the bat of Daniel Oliveri. Put the Beavers up 2-0, and then in the top of the 3rd, Jalen Lawson with a solo shot with 1 out put the Westside Woolly Mammoths on the board, and that's where we stand as of right now. 2 outs here in this top of the 6th inning. Things starting to slow down a little bit for Randy Wynn as he's throwing a lot of pitches here in this 6th inning. As he has officially reached the 75 mark in this one. The 1-0 pitch fouled off and into the netting. Evens the count up at 1-1. Wood even in the count at 1-1. Runners on first and second are Whisker and Fiesel. Sean Wood can find a gap out there. Could be 2. Instead, the 1-1 pitch swung and missed at. Sean Wood not with the prettiest swing right there. He's sort of talking himself down in the batter's box, trying to get back in some sort of positive rhythm. But a tough at-bat here so far against Randy Wynn, who looks like he might have Sean Wood's number in this one. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Sean Wood gets retired via the strikeout for the 2nd consecutive time. Westside Woolly Mammoths get a single and a walk, but cannot put anything across the board here in this top of the 6th. We head to the home half. Beavers remain out in front 2-1 over the Westside Woolly Mammoths. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. I'm Rich Borland. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Before I can get back on the air, a wild play here as Brandon Raw leads off the home half of the 6th inning. Brandon Raw, for the 3rd time in 3 at-bats, swings at the first pitch of the battle. He was 1 for 2 throughout those first 2 at-bats, and on this one, hits a hard ground ball to the shortstop. That's Jeff Smith, who's been busy all night long for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. He originally had lost the baseball, but stuck with it and got Brandon Raw retired for out number 1 here on 1 pitch. As Travis McQueen still out there for the Westside Woolly Mammoths in this 6th inning of work. The first pitch to the next batter, Robert Poller, a curveball that was taking forever to get there. Poller was trying to sit as long as he possibly could, but swings right through the first pitch he sees. Coming into this inning, McQueen at 55 pitches. Now at 57. Pitch number 58 coming in. A backdoor curveball falls into the zone. Poller not agreeing with it, but definitely a great pitch right there from McQueen. Oh, 2 pitch, fastball out of the zone, trying to get Poller to chase after it, but he does not. Count going to 1-2 on the batter. Poller on the night, 1 for 2, reached on a single and got all the way to third back in the 1st inning, but could not come in to score. And then he flew out to left back in the 3rd. The 1-2 pitch missing in the dirt. Poller almost going after it, but held his bat back enough. Good enough to even the count up at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch, curveball in the dirt. Poller, for the 2nd time in his 2nd and 3rd at-bats, has worked the count full. Swung at the first pitch he saw back in the 1st at-bat, but on that fly out to left that ended the 3rd inning was on a full count offer. And now McQueen with the payoff pitch. Fastball inside corner, freezing Poller, cold-blooded right there. Poller gets retired for out number 2 via the backwards K. And we'll see how far Mr. McQueen goes. Coming into the 6th inning, he was sitting at 55 pitches, 35 of them for strikes. And he has thrown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pitches here in this inning. Just 3 of them for balls. Christian Helsel, the next batter, he is 0 for 1 on the night as he looks at a called ball, 1 that misses outside. Looks at a called strike on the outside corner to even the count up at 1-1 right there. A strikeout looking that led off the 4th inning. And then he had that sacrifice fly out that drove in Brandon Raw back in the 1st. That's the night thus far for Christian Helsel, the man out of Altoona, Pennsylvania. He's ahead in the count here, 2-1 now against Travis McQueen, who's trying to get a 1-2-3 inning. He had one back in the 3rd and 4th innings, respectively. The 2-1 pitch getting called a strike here, and Helsel is down to his final strike. McQueen shakes off his catcher. That is Nick Kraus, and he might have been able to get a better pitch out of it, but instead it works out for the Mammoths. A line drive over there to Riley Palmer. He jumps about as high as he possibly could to make that one. He corrals that baseball for the 3rd and final out. We're through 6 innings here in game number 67. Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers lead it by a score of 2-1. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here alongside you as we head to this 7th inning. Westside Woolly Mammoths trailing this one by a score of 2-1 behind the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Randy Wynn out for inning number 7 of work. He's at 78 pitches coming into this one, 51 of them for strikes. He's got 2 walks and 5 Ks to his credit. 2 of those 5 Ks coming in the previous 6th inning. Jeff Smith, meanwhile, the leadoff man to start off this top of the 7th for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. He looks at called ball 1 and then hits a base hit in that 5-6 hole in between Thomas Rulis and Dan Kennan on the left side, and he puts the Mammoths in a threatening position here with the leadoff man on to start the 7th. So I mentioned Randy Wynn in his last start against the Westside Woolly Mammoths. He went 7 innings strong, but gave up 4 earned runs through those 7 innings and lost 5-0 against this Westside Woolly Mammoth team. But the time before that, he went 9 innings strong in a complete game shutout. Sort of the tale of 2 ends for Randy Wynn. He's somewhere right in the middle of both of those starts statistically here tonight. But in line for the win as we speak, pending anything else that happens here in this one. Nick Kraus, the second batter of this inning, already down in the count 0-1 here as he bunts a ball down the first baseline. It looked good from the start, but reaching foul as Christian Helsel let that ball travel down the line and eventually rolled foul where he had picked it up. So the runner, Mr. Smith, stays over there at first base. Smith on the season, keep in mind, 12 stolen bases in 16 attempts. Bunt being shown here from Nick Kraus, and he cannot get that bunt down. He fouls another one off, and he's quickly down in the count here, 0-2. We'll see if the Mammoths try and continue to play small ball. You don't see it happen very often, but a situation arising here that they could still try that sacrifice attempt, even though Kraus is down in the count with 2 strikes. In fact, he's going for the swing right here, and he gets the swing, but makes no contact. A couple of foul balls on 2 bunt attempts lead to a swing and miss strikeout here for Nick Kraus, and with the runner on first, the pitcher, Mr. Wynn, gets his first out here of this 7th inning. So now the 9-hitter, Riley Palmer, comes up to the plate from the left side. Palmer on the night, 0-2, in probably the worst possible way. Struck out back in the 3rd and then grounded out into a double play back in the 5th. Randy Wynn, meanwhile, keeping an eye on Smith. He ends up getting a close play over there, a bang-bang effort. Smith, like I mentioned, with tons of speed over there on the base pass, 12 of 16 on the season. After that pickoff move, Smith was coming up a little bit gingerly. He's now got his left hand around his left thigh as he's squeezing it, and good enough for the trainer to come out here and possibly work on the leg. And we're going to get a little bit of a delay here as I can tell that Mr. Smith is in a little bit of pain as he came up wincing after sliding back into the bag. And like I mentioned, he was grabbing that left thigh. He's now taking a couple of steps down that right field line, checking on that quad right there. And now it looks as if he's starting to move his left hand up and down on his leg with force. So something obviously either locked up or got tightened up in that left leg when he was trying to get back into the bag. And we'll see if Smith needs to get taken out of this game. He's jogging down that right field line, testing out the tightness of that left leg, and he's coming back limping a little bit, grabbing the left leg, but he's shaking his head, which looks as if he's okay enough to stay in this ball game. So keep an eye out for Jeff Smith the rest of the way in this one. He will be battling a little bit of pain throughout the rest of this game against the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, but glad to see that he'll be good enough to stay in this ball game. Meanwhile, Riley Palmer stands in for the 3rd time tonight. Mentioned that he had the worst night out of basically everybody. 0-2 with a strikeout and a ground out into a 4-6-3 double play. And unfortunately for him, he's in sort of another predicament here where he could ground out into another double play here. Instead, looks at ball one to start this at-bat off against Randy Wynn. We'll see if that break in the action breaks up the flow of Randy Wynn. Wynn starting the 1-0 pitch, fouled off into the netting. Couple of good reactions from some fans in the grandstands. That foul ball evens the count up at 1-1. Beavers leading it 2-1 over this Westside Woolly Mammoth team who are trying to come back in this one. They're 5 games behind the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, so no shot at the Western Division crown, but they try and inch up game by game behind the team in third place. That is the Utica Unicorns, who sit at 25-25 overall in this season. But it looks like the Westside Woolly Mammoths will most likely be that number 4 seed. And in fact, there's no possible way that they can get out of it. They have dug themselves into a deep enough hole as Riley Palmer fouls off the third pitch he sees. He's down in the count here 1-2, but the Westside Woolly Mammoths will in fact be that number 4 seed when it's all said and done here. Meanwhile, Riley Palmer hitting a baseball into right field. Don Andre Clark, though, using his speed and making the catch on the run right in front of that right field line in the field of play. Palmer gets retired for the 3rd time here tonight, and the runner who led this inning off with a single, Jeff Smith, continues to wait over there at first. So back to the top of the order we go. Jalen Lawson, the batter for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. He takes a cut and fouls off the first pitch he sees, but more importantly, Jeff Smith on that pitch. Not sure if it was a straight steal or if it was a hit-and-run threat by the Westside Woolly Mammoths, but you can tell Jeff Smith clearly will have to get worked on after this ball game. He is working through some lingering pain in that left quad. Got to imagine he'll probably be staying put on this pitch after seeing how he reacted to that stolen base opportunity. The 0-1 pitch to Lawson, called ball that evens the count up at 1-1. 2 outs here in this top of the 7th inning. We're about ready for stretch time, but not if Jalen Lawson has anything to say about it. The 1-1 pitch fouled off, and behind the netting it goes. Count dropping to 1-2 on the right-hander, Jalen Lawson. Long day of baseball for your play-by-play broadcaster here today, Rich Borland. Got the opportunity to go to the Detroit Tigers game down at Comerica Park in downtown Detroit. First game for the Detroit Tigers without Justin Verlander since he had joined the team. Sort of a weird scenario as the Tigers, who were so used to playing well and being a playoff contender for most of my teenage years, finally having to start their rebuild. And as I say that, Jalen Lawson chases after one. The second strikeout of the inning for Randy Wynn. He's got 7 through 7, and they got the 2-1 lead. We head to stretch time here at Jimmy John's Field, so if you're at home, stretch those legs out and join in here as you're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. So let's root for the whole team. They don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out, and the 2018 season for free. That's right, for free. On September 10th, before the league championship game, season ticket holders will have a chance to swing for the fences, home run derby style. If you or your designated hitter get a home run, your 2018 season tickets are free. Stop by the 1-800 Hanson's Guest Services area for more information about purchasing your 2018 season ticket plan.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially done with stretch time here at Jimmy John's Field as fans sit back down in their seats. Dan Kennan leads the way for the Birmingham-Bloomfield squad. It'll be Kennan, Buckner, and then Wood here in this one, at least, against Travis McQueen, who's out for inning number 7 of work. Just 67 pitches through the first 6 frames, 2 Ks and no walks. Pitching to a lot of weak contact is Mr. Travis McQueen. Obviously still down in this ball game 2-1, but if he can have an efficient next inning or two, he'll stay in and possibly, if the offense can provide for him, get himself a win or a no decision. But Dan Kennan, after looking at ball 1, hits a base knock, takes it the other way into right field on the ground in between first and second base. Kennan with his first hit of the night. He's 1 for 3. So now Nick Buckner, the man who scored what would be the game-winning run if we finish this one out by a final of 2-1. The hit and run working effectively as Buckner puts one to the left side of the infield. Dan Kennan, who was making his way towards second base, forced Jeff Smith to his left, and he started to go back to his right, tried to diving stop that baseball. He made contact with it, but it rolled into the left field area, and the runner's now on the corners. Buckner with his second hit of the night has the Beavers threatening here with 2 men on and no out here in this home half of the 7th. So Luke McCaddy, who had been pitching well all night long, had no walks and no Ks through the first 3 frames, but had given up those 2 runs since then. Still no walks on the night, but 4 Ks. Excuse me, 2 Ks for Mr. McCaddy through the first 6 frames. But back-to-back singles, like I mentioned, from Dan Kennan and Nick Buckner have put the Beavers on the corners here in this one. Leading to Hunter Wood here for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Some action in the Westside bullpen. Try and get a number here for you. Not sure who the number is, but whoever's down there sort of throwing from that 3/4 angle as the second pitch of the at-bat to Hunter Wood misses, evens the count up at 1-1. And it looks as if that's number 15 getting loose out there, Andrew Cohen, just in case things run away here from Mr. McQueen. The 1-1 pitch gets fouled off and goes out of play. Down in the count is Wood, 1-2. So if you're the Mammoths here, you get a double play opportunity. We'll see if the Mammoths try and turn 2, or maybe they'll try and retire Dan Kennan at the plate. They're already down in this one by a score of 2-1. Just a 1-run game as it's been small ball all game long. An opportunity for a play at the plate here. Ethan Whisker making the catch and left. The throw to the plate in time. A bang-bang play. The double play for the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Ethan Whisker throws it right into Nick Krause on 2 hops, and Kennan gets retired. Hunter Wood thought he might have had an RBI flyout right there, but instead, a Trico double play for Ethan Whisker and Nick Krause. Nice job right there to keep the Beavers off the board. Still got a runner out there on second base, but a great job there from the left fielder out of Hillsdale College to get both the fly out off the bat of Hunter Wood and retiring Dan Kennan at the plate. A great job there from the left fielder, showing off his arm strength. And meanwhile, Daniel Oliveri stands in now for the Beavers. He looks at called strike 1 on the inside corner. Runner at second is Nick Buckner. And on this one, a high fly ball, shallow in foul territory, but in the field of play, making the catch on the run is Riley Palmer. And just like that, back-to-back singles lead to a double play and a pop-out here for the Beavers in the home half of the 7th. We head to the 8th. Westside still alive here in this one. They trail it just 2-1. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we head to this 8th inning. Westside Woolly Mammoths getting out of a huge jam in the home half of the 7th. Back-to-back singles off the bats of Dan Kennan and Nick Buckner lead to a double play courtesy of Ethan Whisker of the Westside Woolly Mammoths. He caught a baseball off the bat of Hunter Wood and average depth out there in left field, and then threw out Dan Kennan at the plate. That led to a pop-out off the bat of Daniel Oliveri to end the 7th inning. Kent Blackstone, Thomas Fiesel, and Alex Abbott, the 2-3-4 hitters, due up for the Westside Woolly Mammoths to start off this one. Blackstone, 0-for-3 coming into this at-bat, looks at called strike one to start off this one. Randy Wynn, meanwhile, out for inning number 8 of work, coming into this one, sitting at 91 pitches. But if he can continue to strive here, he could possibly have his second game of the season going the entire way. He did go 8 innings back on July the 20th against the Utica Unicorns, where he won that game 4-2, gave up just 2 earned runs in that one. But right here, quickly on 3 straight pitches, Randy Wynn looks like he is in business, ladies and gentlemen. Kent Blackstone sees 3 pitches, swings at the final one, and is retired via the strikeout for out number 1 to start off this 8th inning right here. And that gives way to the birthday boy, Thomas Fiesel. Started off the night with a 4-pitch walk in the first, couldn't come in to score, flew out to right field back in the 3rd, and then reached on a single back in the 6th and added a stolen base to his credit. 1-for-2 on the night with that single and walk. And he fouls off the first pitch he sees in this at-bat here. 1 out, nobody on for the Mammoths, as they're down to their last 5 outs in this ball game. The 0-1 pitch to Fiesel, a ball that just misses high and outside. A good frame job from Hunter Wood out of Western Kentucky University. Can't get the call from the home plate umpire. Count even at 1-1. Randy Wynn back out to work. A slow breaking ball forces the batter to take a long swing. The third baseman, that was Dan Kennan, initially thought he might have had a play. It goes under his glove as he was on the run. A good backup from Thomas Rulis, the shortstop, but not in time. No throw even being made. Thomas Fiesel reaches on the infield single right there, as technically no error was made. No contact with the baseball and the glove of Dan Kennan. He simply just had a mental error. And now we'll see if Randy Wynn's night is done, as the manager of this Birmingham-Bloomfield team, Chris Newell, makes his way out to the mound. No signal just yet, and it looks like Mr. Newell is going to at least let Randy go another at-bat here, as he has not taken the baseball away just yet. As I say that, let's take a quick look down that left field bullpen, where the Beavers have a guy getting loose. Looks to be a left-hander. Let you know as soon as I get a number here, as I'm staring down there with the binoculars. And that is, in fact, the left-hander, number 40. That is Brandon Mattern, left-handed pitcher out of Akron, Ohio, home of the Zips. The Akron Zips, that is, in the Mid-American Conference, same conference as my Central Michigan Chippewas. Alex Abbott, the batter now, 1 for 3 on the night with a single, a strikeout, and a flyout. An opportunity with the base runner on here is Abbott. This is his third opportunity with a base runner on, all of them being Feasel, as he is 2 for 3 on the night with those 2 singles, a stolen base, and a walk to his credit. Abbott looks at called strike 1 and then looks at a bender that falls inside, misses the zone by just enough, evens the count up at 1-1. Abbott out of Tifton, Georgia, trying to give the Westside Woolly Mammoths some life here in this 8th inning. An extra base hit would possibly tie this one up. Win the 1-1 pitch. Swinging and fouling off that one was Abbott. He's now down in the count here, 1-2. So I mentioned the Westside Woolly Mammoths automatically in that 4 spot, entering the playoff race that will start on September the 7th. But we're still trying to figure out who's going to end up being the first place team. And like I mentioned, the first place team at the end of the regular season will make it all the way to the championship game on that 10th of September, just 9 short days away. 1-2 pitch. Abbott looks at a fastball that misses high and out of the zone. But over in the Eastern Division, the Eastside Diamond Hoppers up just 1 game on the Utica Unicorns. Both of those teams with 25 wins on the year. The Unicorns with 2 more losses than the Diamond Hoppers. They're at 25-25. The Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers coming into play at 27-23. Randy Wynn on the line drive, catches the baseball and makes the double play, doubling off the runner at first, Thomas Feasel. He was stuck out there in no man's land in between first and second. Randy Wynn helping himself out tremendously here as his teammates loving it from his supportive backside. The Mammoths still trail it 2-1 as we head to the home half of the 8th inning. Randy Wynn, we'll see if he comes out to finish this one off, but we're still a half inning away from that. The Beavers take the 2-1 lead into the home half of the 8th. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the USPBL YouTube channel. Rich Borland alongside you as we head to this home half of the 8th inning. Thomas Rulis, who's been in the 9 spot for a majority of this season with the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, batting .353 through his time here with the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers, through his first 48 games to be in fact. And that's part of the reason he's batting in this 9-hole, sort of the double leadoff man. That's exactly what is put into play here for the Beavers in this bottom of the 8th inning as he starts it off here. But unfortunately for the Beavers' sake, 1 pitch and 1 out. Rulis, on the first effort he sees, flies out to center field. He was 0 for 2 coming into the at-bat with 2 flyouts to left. Takes this one a little bit more straight, but same result. 3 flyouts on the night for Thomas Rulis. We head back to the top of the order where Don Andre Clark is standing in from the left side. 0 for 3 on the night is Don Andre. He is out of St. Mary's College of California. Clark from Hayward, California. Count 1-0 on the batter. Jalen Lawson, who I had to mention, transferred from second all the way to third base. He's now over at third. And have to mention this as well. Now over at second base for the Woolly Mammoths is Joe Davis. I'll keep an eye out, see if there's any other defensive changes. But as I say that, Don Andre Clark gets retired on that putout from Lawson for the second out here in this bottom of the 8th inning. Quickly 2 up and 2 down as Travis McQueen, had to mention, still out here for his 8th inning of work. He threw 7 2/3 in this one. He pitching just about as well as his counterpart, Randy Wynn. Brandon Raw, meanwhile, already down in the count here, 0-2. And you don't see this too often, but Travis McQueen coming into this 8th inning with just 76 pitches. He could pitch the entire game and end up with the loss to his credit. We have seen just an incredible pitching matchup between Randy Wynn and Travis McQueen here tonight. And what a show that these two have put on. 2 runs in the first 2 innings for the Beavers. Possibly could be enough. The Mammoths had that solo shot from the man, Jalen Lawson, back in the 3rd inning. But that's the only scoring we've had so far in this one. Brandon Raw, meanwhile, has looked at the next 2 pitches. Both of them out of the zone, and the count even at 2-2 against the right-hander out of Morehead State. 2-2 pitch, slider down in the dirt away. Raw works the count full, and now the payoff pitch will ensue here with nobody on in this bottom of the 8th inning and 2 outs on the board. The windup, the pitch from McQueen, a slider getting enough of the outside corner, called strike 3. 3 up, 3 down for the Beavers in the home half of the 8th. We head to the 9th. We'll see if the Beavers can close it out, and we'll see if Randy Wynn comes back out to pitch. You're listening to the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland here with you. We're getting down to the wire, not only in this 2017 USPBL season, but in this game itself. Both Randy Wynn and Travis McQueen have been lights out for just about their entire outing in this one. Just a couple of mistakes from both of them early on in this game, but they have cruised from the 3rd inning on. Both of them have. And Randy Wynn going out for the complete game victory. He'll have to deal with Ethan Whisker, Sean Wood, and Jeff Smith. Coming into this 9th inning, Randy Wynn had 101 pitches, and we'll see how far he can go, and we'll see how short the leash is from Chris Newell and company here if he allows any base runners on in this inning. The 1-0 pitch to Whisker after he looks at ball 1, looks at a called strike 1 on the outside and high corner. Getting enough of the plate right there was Wynn. Wynn, like I mentioned, already has a complete game victory under his belt this year against this Westside team. That was just back on August the 19th, where Wynn had gone the complete game, shutout, in fact, on a 4-0 victory. He gave up just 3 hits, no walks, 12 strikeouts in his outing. But since then, just 1 start in between. That was back on August the 27th as Whisker fouls one off right there. Count remains at 1-2. But back on that 27th of August, Randy Wynn had gone 7 innings. Sort of the night that McQueen's having. A really good outing, but just not enough support from the offense. And that's obviously part of the opposition on the mound, but both pitchers doing tremendous here tonight. Ethan Whisker looking foolish on that 1-2 offering. He goes down swinging and missing. Whisker on the night was 1 for 2 with a walk and a single, but goes down for the first time via the strikeout here tonight, and that'll bring up Sean Wood. So 1 up, 1 down for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Randy Wynn 2 outs away here from a complete game. He'll deal with Sean Wood in this at-bat, and then Jeff Smith following. Sean Wood looks at a called strike right down the heart of the plate to start this one off. Makes you wonder if the Mammoths are possibly taking a strike in this final inning. But Randy Wynn looks to still be on here in this one. As I mentioned, he had 101 pitches coming into this 9th inning. 69 of them were for strikes. He had 8 Ks and 2 walks through the first 8 innings, and he's got strikeout number 9 here. If he can get one more, he'll hit double digits for just the 2nd time all season. The 0-2 pitch, fastball missing high and just away. Brings the count to 1-2. 92 miles an hour on the gun right there for Randy Wynn. Is he still there in the low 90s as he's been all game long? The 1-2 to Sean Wood, swinging and missing. Sean Wood will have to toss on the sombrero back in the dugout. That is the 10th K of the night for Randy Wynn, and the 3rd going to Sean Wood. Not the greatest night after he had that infield single back in the 2nd inning. Randy Wynn, contrary to how starting pitching usually goes, you seem to cruise at the beginning of the game, and then through the 3rd or 4th time around in the batter's eye against you, they usually seem to do better, but sort of the opposite effect here for Randy Wynn in this one. Couple of strikeouts to start off this 9th inning, and Jeff Smith fouls off the first pitch he sees down the left field line. A soft hit baseball. As I take that back, Joe Davis, the man who entered for Jeff Smith back in the previous inning defensively. Joe Davis, the batter, is standing in now after swinging and missing at strike 1. He swings at an ugly one, a curveball that would have been in the dirt for ball 1. Instead, Joe Davis down to his final strike here as Randy Wynn looking for his 2nd complete game victory of the 2017 USPBL season. A base ground ball up the middle. That is Dan Kennan making the play for the 3rd and final out. The Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers get an incredible performance from Randy Wynn, his 2nd complete game of the season, and you better believe it, the player of the game is, in fact, that man out of Missouri Baptist, Randy Wynn, with the complete game victory. Let's give you his numbers real quick right when we come back here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to game number 67. Post-game show here with Rich Borland. What a pitching matchup we had in this game number 67 of 71. As the kids run the bases and fireworks get set up out there in center field, let's give you the quick recap of this great pitching matchup. Travis McQueen, the man out of Radford University, as well as Richmond, Virginia, on the night, getting the loss in the outing, but he threw 84 pitches in 8 innings. He gave up no walks, had 3 Ks, 6 hits on the night for the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers against him, just 2 earned runs on the evening, but not good enough against his counterpart, Randy Wynn, the player of the game. 113 pitches in the complete game effort. Through the 9 innings, he gave up 8 hits, had 1 earned run against him on that solo shot back in the 3rd from Jalen Lawson, and just 2 walks to 10 Ks. I mentioned just the 2nd time in Randy Wynn's entire USPBL career does he hit the double-digit mark, and good enough for the victory. The Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers move to 28-23, and they only have 2 games left after this one here tonight. And if they win one more, they are outright the first-place team. But obviously we will see what happens with the Eastside Diamond Hoppers and Utica Unicorns, who are just a few games underneath the Birmingham-Bloomfield Beavers. Still lots to be decided here in this 2017 season before the playoffs start in just 6 short days. From Rich Borland, the entire USPBL crew, we say so long here from game number 67. I'll be back on call tomorrow here from Jimmy John's Field. Have a good night, everybody, and drive home safely.